I want to tell you a quick story that's true. During the World War, some decades ago, there was an evil ruler by the name of Pol Pot in Cambodia. And he sent in death squads into villages because all of the educated and people who had read had fled to the villages. And these death squads were going through and they were killing everybody. And they began to dig a ditch, and then they lined the whole village up, and one by one, because they were perceived as enemies of Pol Pot, they began to murder and shoot in the head, and they would fall into the ditch. And they kept happening over and over. And finally they get to this woman, and she cries out just before they put the gun to her head, in her own language, these words: "Oh God, God who died by execution, save me." She did not know his name. In Cambodia, they worship hundreds of gods. And when she said, "Oh God who died by execution, save me," suddenly the soldiers stopped. They withdrew the gun, they got in their truck, and they left. And all of the people that were spared looked to that woman who had cried out to the God who died by execution. And they didn't know his name. They didn't know anything about him. They didn't have any Bibles. They didn't know who in the world they were praying to. But from that day forward, that whole village that was left began to change gods. And they all, not knowing who he was, began to pray. And at night when they would pray and when they would burn candles and do their incense, they would pray to the God who died by execution. 15 or 20 years later, I've got it in a book that I've got, a missionary goes into that village. He preaches one simple message, and he uses a cross to illustrate what he's preaching. He preaches the death of Jesus Christ on the cross, not knowing what had happened in the history of that village. And when he told them about Jesus Christ dying on a cross, the whole village bowed their knees and began to cry, because they had found the name of the God who died by execution. His name is Jesus.